Hello, this is the WordPress tutorial for putting together your basic settings. I'm just going to run through the settings here pretty quickly, and if I've set this up for you, you probably don't need to watch this tutorial. If you're setting it up yourself, then I'm just going to go through and hit the high points on the settings. These are things that I think you should know about and maybe change after your initial WordPress install. Okay, so get ready. We're already logged in, and I'm going to click back to the back side of the site, and we're going to go straight to settings on the sidebar here and into general. And this is the title of your site. This is what search engines will see, and this is the tagline. So this should say you know, what it is that you do, and this should kind of define that a little bit better. You know what a tagline is, you know. I'm gonna skip over this stuff. This is an administrative email. It says, like, if you have a blog and people contribute to your blog, for example, then when someone signs up to be a contributor or they create a post, then this email would get notifications. I believe WordPress will also email you and say that there are updates available for various different things. Time zone down here, we're going to skip over these things. Time zone, you can pick your time zone if you know exactly what it is, or you can find your city. If you're on the East Coast, you can use New York. Date format is pretty self-explanatory. This is for the blog. You can choose your date format as well as time. That's also for the blog. And you can choose the time of the day of the week that the week starts. And that could be for various different plugins and different reasons. But that's it for general settings. So let's save that, or not. I mean, this is just a walkthrough of what you need to touch on. And let's move on to writing. And actually, writing, most of this you really don't need to mess with. You can go and look at these things. You know, if you don't want to convert emoticons, then you could unclick that. You could change your default post category. If you're always going to post things about, you know, dogs, because your whole website is about dogs, then actually you probably shouldn't have a category that's called dogs, because everything's dogs. Although you may not want the default to be uncategorized. Maybe most of your stuff is about dogs, but some of it's about cats or something like that. I'll leave that to you, but really we don't need to go over all of these things. Reading settings. The important thing here is this is how your blog is going to show up. So your home page is going to show, in this case, it's going to show your blog. It's going to show the most recent posts in your blog. If you change it, then you'll have to choose a front page, a home page, and you can create a page called home, and then add that. You know, this is listing out all the pages that I have on this site. So I could create a page called home and put the content in there, and then select that page from this menu, and then my home page would be the initial page that the site goes to. And then the posts page could be a page called blog or what have you. That's what I would do, though. I would create a page called blog and then select that page, and then all the content that's actually on the page won't show at all. It will just have the latest posts, as it would with this setting. But this just allows you to have a front page that's an actual page, or you can make your blog your home page. You can show the full text or just the summary for each of the posts. This setting doesn't work with all themes. You'll have to kind of play with that to see how that goes. And this is a very important setting, search engine visibility. So when Google goes to search a site and find out all the information that's on the site and then report that to Google's users, Google actually checks with the site first to see if it's okay. And what this checkbox does is say to Google, it's not okay. Don't look at this site. Just ignore that there's a website here for now. And the reason you might want to do this is if you put up your site and you don't actually have your content and everything ready to go. So you don't want the search engine to go and look through your partially done site. So you want to discourage the search engine from indexing this site for now until you have everything ready to go. And then when you go through your final procedure and actually launch the site, then you'll unclick this and save changes and move on. And in moving on, let's talk about discussion. These discussion settings are pretty important because what happens is WordPress sites can get a lot of spam, and you can set up a plugin called Akismet. There are other plugins as well, and I'll go over those plugins in another tutorial. And I'll probably do a tutorial just on Akismet all by itself, because it's really important to go through the process of getting yourself out of all the spam that can come with having a website. So, default article settings. Bear with me here. Attempt to notify any blogs linked to from the article. So if you write a post or someone else writes a post and they reference another website, this will notify that other website if you check it off. You don't need to do this. The other website might not want to know, but if you're working with someone else and you really want to get your blogs all linked up together, then this might be beneficial to you and them for your search engine results. Allow link notifications from other blogs. This is the other side of this coin. You can turn this off if you're getting spam. If you aren't going to use your blog at all and you don't want any comments, uncheck this and uncheck that, and don't allow people to post comments on new articles. So this is basically saying the default is let people make a post comment, and you can change it so that the default is not to let people post a comment. Again, if you're not using a blog, uncheck these boxes. Now, these are other comment settings. If you're not using a blog, then these don't matter. I'll try to go over them quickly. Comment author must fill out name and email. That's basically just saying you've got to put something in there if you're going to make a comment. This is requiring people to actually be registered and logged in to comment. If you know that the only people commenting are going to be approved by someone who's running your site, then you would use that. Automatically close comments on articles older than 14 days. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can change this setting, of course. Nested comments. We don't really need to talk about that. Break comments into pages. If you have this many comments, then you probably can figure this out yourself. Email me whenever anyone posts a comment. Yes, you want these both on no matter what. Even if you're not using a blog, you want these on, because if you for some reason are getting a comment, then these settings are wrong and it'll prompt you to go and change them. So leave both of these turned on regardless. Unless you're so regularly going in here and you have so many comments that you just don't need it anymore, then you could turn them off because you're using it all the time. I would suggest using this, checking this off. An administrator must approve the comment. That means every time someone comments, then you get a notification and you have to actually approve the comment. This is great for preventing the spam from actually getting to your website. It's not great for keeping you from getting emails, but you will actually prevent the comments from getting to your site, so that's good. And a comment author must have a previously approved comment. So if you have this unchecked, first box unchecked, then this one matters, because once they're approved, then they could keep commenting. Comment moderation: hold a comment in the queue if it contains 2 or more links. I would make this 0, because if they have any links, then they're probably spamming you. Comment blacklist: you can use words. You can put words in here to say, okay, if this word's in here, just dump it. Just don't even use this comment at all. Avatars: you can show or hide avatars. If people aren't registered on your site, then they're all going to get this one. And these avatars can have ratings. This is not going to read the content of the comment. It's going to check the rating of the avatar itself, because some of the avatars can be X-rated. So you can show or not show these avatars, but these settings are all about these little images associated with the commenter. Okay? And onto media. Thumbnail size you want to pay attention to here. You can change these settings. You don't really need to fiddle with that. This is the important part here. This says crop thumbnail to exact dimensions. So what this is going to do is actually crop off the edges of whatever image if it's not a perfect square. So if you have an image that's wider than it is tall, then it'll take the middle part of that image and cut off the sides and use just the middle part, the square middle part, as the thumbnail. So I would actually suggest turning this off. And then onto permalinks. Normally you'd have to save the changes there. Post name, you want to change this setting to post name. At least that's what I would suggest, because that will affect your pages as well. That's great for search engines. Search engines want to see the name of the page or post in the URL, and that's what that will do for you. So just click that box there. I'm sorry, click that radio button there. And that about does it for the basic settings that you really should take a look at. Alright, and for more advanced settings, just contact me and I will help you out on a case-by-case basis, because there's a lot of settings to go through. Alright, keep looking for other tutorials from me, and thanks. Hope that helps.